Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of In Conversation Podcast. This is Xzavier Antonio. This is episode 106, the genesis, the beginning of the In Conversation Podcast sessions, but also it's the beginning of our company telling other brands' story. And today we have the amazing, and though, even though many of us know her, I still kind of consider her to be a little undiscovered. Miss... What are we using?
Shit.
Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson.
Miss Jackson. She so yeah, I consider you a little bit. I'm using the term undiscovered because people, even the people you know and have encountered, have no idea just yet. They only know what they see on social media, you know what I'm saying, here and there. But before all that, how you doing, Miss Jackson?
Grateful.
Grateful. Mm-hmm. Why you choose that word of all words to choose?
Because it means that no matter how life is going right now, I'm here.
Yes.
And that has to be enough. I'm literally just grateful to be here.
Yeah. It's important to be, a word is present.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that is one of the struggles that many people who are creative and as creative as you specifically have to work on. Yeah. being present, because you're so creative and you can be just caught up in the spirit of a thing, the vibe of things, and just all of that. And so I know how it can be, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm grateful that of all the things you had to do and all the things you had to focus on, you chose to deliberately be present for this session. And so
I'm honored. Thank you.
It's my honor. So we definitely got a whole bunch of gratefulness happening in the room today. So first of all, let's just start out, talk a little bit about just some of the things that you do. Now, I know before I knew you did anything else, I knew you danced because I saw a video of you in like a work class or session or something like that. And I think that you were leading and y'all were doing some dancing. Yeah. So how long you been dancing?
Since I could probably walk, honestly, just dancing, because music, it makes you move.
Yeah. But, and people always ask though. That's not really a good question to ask.
I'll say 9.
9?
My first time performing in front of a group or a crowd of people was 9 that I can recall.
Yeah, right. But after I asked the question, I thought about it. I was like, is that really a good question? Because people will ask me, like, how long you been singing? And it'd be like, you know, and sometimes we have a story, you know what I'm saying? Like, that may be important, but it's kind of like, all my life. That's for the most part. That's so always going to be the answer.
It's not boring. It's like, it's the truth though.
Yeah. But when so what all kind of dance do you do, and is there anything that you love the most in dancing?
Ooh. I started praise dancing in church. That's why I said 9. Started praise dancing, and it's kind of considered temporary now. Yeah. But then from there, it's hip hop, and I kind of learned hip hop on accident watching music videos. So I was like, I can't afford these dance lessons, but I can see what they're doing, and I have kind of a photographic memory when it comes to dance. So
that's what's up.
I would just watch that.
Yeah, that's dope too. Like, because like I've dated a couple women who dance, like, and professionally, like they do it all. And I've been to some rehearsals, and then it'd be like somebody show this woman a dance move, and 2 minutes later she got it, and I'm like, how though?
Because like, I gotta hit it. You can't be afraid to fall. None of that.
Like, come on now. Like, ain't no way I can learn that in 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? You got it. You might not be perfect, but you know the steps. What's something else that the people love? Which
before all this social media stuff, songwriting was my gift. That's my thing. That's what I was known is.
Yeah.
And I say was because I paused, but is because I get phone calls randomly to just write songs for people, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I gotta focus on that. Like, I gotta be in the moment, and so I can't out the blue do it. But songwriting is my number one love.
So it's different from dancing. Like, somebody can show you a move and you got it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
When it comes to
songwriting, like, okay, I got
play a beat. I can sit down for 5 minutes and come up with when I say basic melody for me, and my stuff doesn't sound like anyone else's melody, because I hear music and I play instruments too.
Yeah, and I've seen a video of you playing the piano. I was like, so that's one thing I can't do. I can't dance. I can't play the piano. I can find a chord though. I'm good with finding notes. Yeah. Like, so that's what's up. But Sing, dance, obviously you do poetry and all that kind of stuff
Just
too.
started that.
Yeah,
That's
so
fun.
yeah, I mean, well, you're a songwriter, so
Yeah.
you're already good with words and forming those. But among all of those things, you're also a businesswoman and entrepreneur who has self-published at least one book, has another book that you're kind of procrastinating a little bit to put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're a mother. You got four daughters aging, different ages and stuff like that. So life for you truly is a full time. Yeah, and it's a lot going on. And then I'm always seeing you out at different places. And so as an entrepreneur, what do you think has been like one of the most essential things to you being able to succeed or grow in all of the areas that you want to grow in?
Networking. You gotta. People don't know what you have going on, then they don't know how to support you. If they don't see you, they don't know that you have something going on. And if they see you supporting them, they're more likely to support you as well. And I never looked at it as a sacrifice from a negative standpoint. It's like, no, this is a sacrifice I'm willing to make because the return on this sacrifice is support in return. It's genuine.
I wish everybody could be that lucky because sometimes people don't necessarily reciprocate that support. And sometimes your support goes somewhat unnoticed. You know what I'm saying? Just because as entrepreneurs and as ambitious people, a lot of us are focused on our goal. We're focused on our objective, and we do things that may impact and affect a lot of people's lives. So I know as I know promoters or community leaders who might not feel like they have the time and the capacity to remember every single person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That supported them. But I know oftentimes there are people who when they start something, they feel like, man, I supported this leader.
Yeah.
I supported this promoter. I supported this person's business. And that support, you know what I'm saying, was not returned.
I have a theory on that.
Go ahead.
And I shared this with a young entrepreneur recently, and she said it brought her so much peace. I said, sometimes people are too close to you to see the light that you're exuding. They're blinded by that. So they don't really know how to support you back fully until they step away from that light and they can see you still shining bright. So don't lose your light when people don't see it. Just keep shining and keep moving in the direction that you're going, and the support does come back. I've gone through the phase of doing things and then not necessarily expecting support, but thinking it was going to just come, and it didn't. So when I took a step back and just said, I'm going to do this for fun. I'm going to network because it makes me feel good to just be there in the moment and meet my friends and meet people and other business owners and introduce my brand. Once I stepped back, the people that I quote unquote assumed or thought would support really started to support. They just popped up in droves. It was like, whoa, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm like, whoa, thank you. So the support does come. Just you got to give people time to really see you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And stay consistent with it.
And sometimes, and people do see oftentimes, and when we're not getting support that we're expecting, it could be all kind of different variables. But I think our main obligation is to make our thing better. But I have met and talked to a lot of entrepreneurs who had that complaint, like, I've supported people, they didn't support me.
Yeah.
And what I've said to folks is, at the end of the day, regardless of how great your thing is, it can be awesome, it can be beautiful, it can change a lot of lives, all of that. Nobody really owes you anything.
Go. Nobody owes you anything. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's like, how can a person that you supported, if you're supporting them and they're growing the way that you hope they would, how can that one person turn around and support all them hundreds of people right back? It's almost impossible unless they organize and watch them build. If they're building and you're supporting, then, watch the process and be patient with it. And as you're building, target people that you want to come.
Reality of it is, you owe it to yourself to try to, make things better for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, one is, if something's not working for you, and you have to care so much about what you're doing that you're willing, no matter how long it takes, you're willing to do the work to make that thing better.
Yeah.
I'm doing this thing for the community and everybody should support. Guess what though? I know God, you feel like God gave you that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what's up. Like, you have that in your heart to do
I'm cheering
that
for you,
thing. You know what I'm
too.
saying? But the reality of it is, in Milwaukee and around the world, there are roughly around another 5,000, 10,000, maybe even 30, 40,000 people who feel like they thing that they done came up with for the
Exactly.
community is just as important.
Yeah.
So regardless of how great it is, it does not negate the fact that you have to do the work on the thing to make it better and appealing. But also, you have to do the networking and to find those like-minded people and to find that customer base, or even if we're talking like a B2B business, business to business, find those businesses and entrepreneurs who could really benefit,
100%.
you know what I'm saying, from the thing that you are offering. And it's an entire process.
Yeah.
And just thinking about that from an entrepreneur standpoint, or even from an artist standpoint, that's why when you think about all of the work, all the stuff you have to balance, on top of the art itself or the business itself and the kids and the bills and the landlord don't care nothing about the fact that you're trying to start your own business. You know what I'm saying? like all of these things, whatever path you take, you have to choose something that's worth, or that is that important to you. It's worth that struggle. You know what I mean? Like, we let social media fool us sometimes into thinking, oh, it's gonna be easy. All I gotta do is post about it, and so and so made $1 million overnight. Not everybody's doing that.
Everybody's doing that. Come on, y'all. It takes time.
Like, shoot, like it happens.
But you know what though? And I tell people, I have viral videos. My videos go viral often. I said, but when they go viral, I know what caused them to go. I know how long it took them to go, and I know what factors went into that moment. But people who don't understand that you can actually plan and campaign and create those things to make your moments, they don't understand what people like us say when we go viral. They think it's natural, it just happens. Like, no, it just happens, but it takes doing the work and studying your own, like, you know, your formula.
Yeah.
And so it's not like an overnight situation. And the patience that we have to have with ourselves as entrepreneurs is, I did this, I attracted 5 people. If I do at least that at the exact same time next week, and I add this, I may get 10 people.
It, like you're saying, it takes time, especially if you want to be in a position where you have at least a great theory, at least, of what will happen, and you can make some projections and stuff
and
like that.
Write that stuff down. Like, if you notice you see some results, even if it's a little bump that goes in the direction you want, write it down and try it again. The consistency is everything.
Yeah, I think that. And I know that it can become challenging at times, you know what I'm saying? Like, just on your energy and all of that. Even though you're creative, I think creatives have I'm talking about just real creative, not just creative in the sense of I create things, because we have those kind of creatives. And then we have people who are creative spirits, where not anything to do with their talent, but they can adapt to almost any particular situation because they see things a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? They're typically people that can always see the good in something just because they're, you know, they're just that. You know what I'm saying? That, like, oh, this isn't a messed up situation. This isn't a messed up situation. This is an opportunity to create something beautiful.
Every time. It used to be people used to get so upset with me for you always trying to be positive. You always trying to act like. I'm like, I'm not trying to. I see something that y'all probably don't see in this moment. And I'm not saying you're supposed to. I'm saying, you say you trust my energy. I see something. The same way I saw something when we connected, you know? And I have to remind people of that, like, to not be selfish with energy. Because if I share good energy in one space, understand that someone else over here may need that good energy too. And that's where I found my peace to work with this group, work with this network, bounce around a little bit and not have anyone kind of hold me to it. And then I realized stability comes when I'm able to keep going back to certain networks. Like the following year, they invite me back. That's when I knew I was doing it right.
I will say this, like I said, I think that you're this amazing, just dope person.
Thank you.
And we've had some discussions on, like, what do you need to get to where you want to get to, being the creative that you are. Sometimes the structure isn't there, and so we're going to be doing some work together to get a little bit more organized. But we can't get so organized that it prevents any of your creative ability and talent and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just excited to be connected with you. I'm glad that you came here to be a part of this podcast session. And for those who don't know Miss Netta Jackson, definitely make sure you stay tuned because we gonna keep, because sometimes she like to shut down her social media when y'all ain't acting right, and so we're gonna use the In Conversation podcast session.
Yes.
Even when she takes her breaks, we gonna help her maintain that visibility. Point is, y'all gonna be seeing this lady, so stay tuned.